Greetings YouTube, Captain here, back for another short, and today I'm responding to Tetsubo's comments with regards to the dividing of loot, which for the most part is a D&D phenomenon. It does exist in other settings and other games, but I tend to approach other games differently because of the way that items work in terms of either magic items or technological items, depending on the setting, or how cash works or how credit is established and things like that. I mean, for example, you tend not to get a lot of people bitching and arguing about the dividing of loot in a Cthulhu game, for example, or a World of Darkness game, for example. You tend to primarily get it with Dungeons and Dragons or the iterations of that system. And I tend to, my personal opinion on this is I like to just simply divide it based upon use and try to make it as even as possible. So if Tim's got 5 magic items, then Sarah should have 5 magic items, and Beverly should have 5 magic items, and Zach should have 5 magic items. You shouldn't have a situation where one guy's got like twice as many as everybody else, or has as many as everyone else combined. I have been in games where that's happened because it's like either due to happenstance or by design or by any other thing, it's turned out that a lot of the items are really only suited for one character. That's kind of a GM flaw, and you tend to sometimes get characters who've got way too many magic items compared to other groups. And when I say magic items, I also mean technological items or special items. When it comes to money, money is really easy because you just basically put it in a big pile, divide it by the number of people present, end of story. When it comes to items, that's when it gets interesting. So I'm of the opinion that you really should just try to divide it evenly, based upon the uses that people have of it and who will get the most out of it in terms of, well, basically making you a better person. Because when you're in Dungeons and Dragons, basically you are killing people to take their stuff, to acquire more power, to kill more powerful things, to take their stuff, and so on and so forth, rinse and repeat. However, I do play with a guy, I'm not going to mention his name here, and he runs, I want to call it a zero-sum system, but I could be wrong. And basically the way he does it is he divides all the money evenly. But then what he does is he takes all the magic items and says, who wants these items? And he will sell you the items, including himself, obviously he does this himself to himself as well, for their sale price, so half the actual market price. And if you don't have enough money to account for it, you'll owe the group that much money. So when money comes next into the equation, you pay off your debt to the rest of the group before you see another penny. So potentially you could be in debt to the group for a couple of sessions, a couple of weeks, or even a month or so, if you've got a large batch of items or a very powerful magic item. And there's a balancing factor because in Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition and to an extent 4th edition and Pathfinder such and so forth, you can use that money to craft your own items. So if the GM hasn't put anything in there for you, say for example you're playing a druid and everything's like +1 longsword, +1 full plate, nothing you can use, it's all metal for example, then basically what you do is you walk away with the money when everyone else buys the items out of the group, and they will basically effectively pay you the privilege of doing that, and you take that raw money and then you go to a wizard or another druid or a cleric or whatever that can make magic items and say, can you please make me this, and you buy the magic item off of them. And it helps plug the gaps. So even if the GM isn't actively filling in the gaps of what you need for your character, you can do that for yourself. In a high magic environment, you'll tend to find it's very easy to find someone that can do that for you if you look hard enough. So, however, I'm not a big fan of that because of the book working. If anyone wants to know more information about it, get in touch, and I'll try and get it in a document that makes sense because I probably haven't explained it that well. But it works really well in the groups that he plays in. So when we're playing Dungeons and Dragons and he's one of my players, that tends to be the system that they all follow, because if he does the paperwork, nobody minds. He does it fairly and balanced, so he doesn't pilfer the system, even though sometimes he does play your characters. He always balances this part of the game out perfectly, so nobody feels unfairly done by, and everyone walks away unhappy. When he's running a game, for example, and I'm playing, I tend to be just the div out as and when you can. So our group does do both, depending on who's playing and who's running. That's my 10 pence. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye-bye.